And it reads like this. How do I specifically utilize the law of attraction and success principles as a daily routine to attract an intimate partner into my life? I love that question. What do you say?
I think we just need to have Alex and Amber call each other. Anyway, basically the simplest technique and the one that works, and you don't need anything more complicated than this, is to first start by writing a detailed description of the type of person you would like to attract into your life. And by that I mean the qualities of the person, what you want to be feeling when you're with that person, safe, secure, intimate, joyful, sensual, whatever all the qualities are that you want to experience and that you want them to have in terms of being loving and kind, maybe athletic, or they enjoy dancing, they're capable of authentic, intimate communication, self-disclosure. Maybe you want them to be generous. I know one that a lot of women tell me after they attract someone in their life they wish they'd added was self-supporting financially, responsible, abundant, creative, sensitive, lover, passionate. You can just go down the list, spiritual, into spiritual growth, open to feedback, good sense of humor, etc. And always put at the end, or someone better. Because quite often we have a visual image in our mind of maybe someone we had a crush on in high school, or the certain qualities of a person that we maybe were in love with 10 years ago, and we think we want that person back. And quite often what's going on is that we are evolving emotionally and spiritually and intellectually, and who we want to be attracting into our life now may be someone that isn't exactly like that image. It's actually better for us in terms of our own fulfillment. Hold on a second. In terms of our own personal fulfillment or our own spiritual growth and evolution. And the other thing that I would add, too, that a lot of people seem to leave off when they make this list is single and available. Because often people will attract into their life somebody that has all these qualities, but it turns out it's the new hire in their company and the person's married. And so, what you're wanting is to be able to, have an intimate relationship that's, above board and so forth. Single and available is important. And another issue I find with clients is often they want children and the person they attract doesn't, or vice versa. So put that in as well. Now, I refer to this as a purchase order to God. It's like if I was in a division head in a company and I needed a new machine, I would write up a description of the machine. I would post the stats and specifics and serial numbers of something I found on internet and so forth. And then I would give it to the company, the board, the president, the accounting department, whatever, and they would either approve it or not. But the point being, I'm very specific about what I want. So the technique or the structure that I like best is you start by writing, I am so happy and grateful that I now have a wonderful, dynamic, fulfilling relationship with a person who, and then you put down all the descriptors that we talked about earlier. And then what you can do a number of different things with that. I have what I call a wish box on my desk. It's a box I bought in Africa. It's leather bound when I was over there in Cameroon visiting my brother-in-law, who happens to be the ambassador for the U.S. in Cameroon. And we went into this marketplace, and I found this beautiful black leather box that fits 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper in it. So I will type out what I'm looking for, perhaps a new employee, a certain kind of intern for our company. I've been working on scoring tickets to the Olympics in 2008, and I actually just last week, it's really fun, we just signed a publishing deal with a new publisher in China called Anhui Publishers, and they're going to publish all of our books over the next 10 years, and we think they'll sell close to 300 million books. And turns out this publishing company is owned by the Chinese government, who obviously has access to all the tickets they want to the Olympics. So we're very confident that's going to happen. But I wrote that down 2 years ago when I was watching a special on the Discovery Channel about the buildings of all the new buildings they're building for the Olympics, which are quite phenomenal. That's another call. But anyway, so once you've written it down, you can just put it in there and trust that the universe will take care of it. God, infinite intelligence, source, however you want to refer to the quantum field that the physicists call it, will basically orchestrate things to happen that way. Now, I'm also a big believer in repetition. Some people teach you don't need to do that. I believe that it's helpful to take that sheet out. Some people do it regularly. Some people do it once a week. And read it over. And here's the key part, Alex, and all the people listening, is this. You must feel the feelings that you would feel if you had it. Because remember, you're starting, I am so happy and grateful that I now have. And if it's just a rote mental exercise, it's kind of like trying to drive a car without gasoline in it. And so it's the emotions. We know that thoughts create emotions, which are the highest vibratory level, higher than thought, let's say, in terms of its intensity, in terms of its waveform that goes out into the universe. So we want to create the feelings. I was listening to a CD last night of a friend of mine who does this kind of work, counseling one of his clients, and she was talking about how she just seemed to have this series of boyfriends. They would come and they'd be there 3, 4, 5 weeks. They'd be wonderful relationships, and then they would leave. The boyfriends would leave. And so what we discovered, what he discovered, I discovered listening to it, was that what she was believing was, I really attract these great guys, but they always leave. And so what's the feeling you have when you know they're going to leave? There's this feeling of constant trepidation. When's the shoe going to drop? And so what you then attract is someone who's going to do that to you. And so what he was recommending, and I'd recommend on this call, is look at what is it that you're really, really, really wanting in this relationship. And for her, she was wanting to be adored and to have someone that she could adore. And so the instruction was, what I want you to do is to every day close your eyes and think about someone you adore. It doesn't have to be, the boyfriend you want to attract into your life, but maybe you've got a friend at work and they're married and they adore each other. Well, think about them. Think what it would feel like to be adored that way and to adore someone that way. Feel what it would like to be adorable. And so to constantly create the feeling. Because one of the things that happens is when we do this kind of work, we're always saying, well, what should I do? What's the next step I should take? And it's always what we call the action journey. And when we're working with law of attraction and the success principles, we also need to have a simultaneous